We have a major injury update as an injury to a very important New York Jets offensive player is leaving the door open for an aging veteran to get an opportunity for the New York Jets, and we got to break it all down. So what's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. Before we hop into the video for today, only 30.7% of viewers are subscribed to the channel. If you are not subscribed, please take a second, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. But let's hop into the news that we have for today. Coming from ESPN, Florham Park, New Jersey, with quarterback Justin Fields in the NFL's concussion protocol, the New York Jets are preparing for the possibility of starting Tyrod Taylor on Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because of the uncertainty, the Jets will create plans for both quarterbacks, according to Coach Aaron Glenn. He said, "We have to get more information so we can be more pinpointed on that, but we do have to look at it in that way." He said Monday morning, if Justin can't play, then Tyrod would be the guy and we'd build a plan that's suitable for him. So, on Sunday versus the Buffalo Bills at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, Justin Fields started the game for the New York Jets, only completed 3 of his 11 passing attempts for a pretty poor 27% completion percentage, and eventually exited the game with a concussion. And it's looking like that concussion is going to leak over into next week and maybe impact who the New York Jets starting quarterback is going to be versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when the New York Jets have our first away game flying down to Tampa, have to take on a very, very strong Tampa Bay Buccaneers team led by Baker Mayfield. You know, they got Emeka Egbuka. That defense has to be better than it's been in the past. But looking at the way the quarterbacks worked out last Sunday versus the Buffalo Bills, Justin Fields on Sunday, 3 for 11, 27 yards, 2.5 yards per attempt. I actually had to cut this video because I had no idea what that average even was. 2.5 yards per attempt is, that should be impossibly bad. Justin Fields also taking 2 sacks, losing 19 yards on those sacks. QBR of 1.1. I don't usually use QB rating as an actual thing because I don't know how it's actually concocted, and no one who has used QBR as an actual stat has ever been able to tell me what numbers, what formula goes into it. So I'm not going to use a number that I don't even know how it is worked out. But of course, the lower, the worse, and the higher, the better. And 1.1 is almost as low as you can possibly be. Justin Fields, some of the things that he struggled with versus the Buffalo Bills were he was right back to moving around, shifting in the pocket. He was moving around as if there was pressure when there wasn't pressure, and that was causing it to be even more difficult for the offensive line to block for him, partially leading to those 2 sacks. Also, Justin Fields just struggled with his accuracy. He, wasn't reading the field properly. There was just so much bad. I really don't need to go too deep into Justin Fields, but talking more about Tyrod Taylor, he did look better when he came into the football game in the fourth quarter, completing 7 of his 11 pass attempts for 56 yards, averaging 5.1 yards per attempt, throwing 1 touchdown right in front of where I was sitting to a tight end. Still, Tyrod Taylor, don't be too excited about how much better he looked because he was not playing against the same guys that Justin Fields was playing against. The Bills were, not bringing out anything crazy game plan schematically wise, and they were not bringing out all of their starters to play against Tyrod Taylor. But we have Tyrod Taylor because we know he's one of the more capable backup quarterbacks in the NFL. A couple of years ago, we were caught metaphorically with our pants down when Aaron Rodgers went out with that Achilles injury in the first game of the season, and then we had to start Justin Fields for the rest of the year because we did not have a backup quarterback to fill in after Aaron Rodgers went down. After that season, the front office of the New York Jets said that's not going to happen to us again. If our starting quarterback does happen to get hurt again, or for any reason we are going to have to play our second quarterback, we're going to make sure that our backup quarterback is a capable player, and that's exactly what Tyrod Taylor is. He's on the wrong side of 30, so he's definitely not the future of the New York Jets, but just like Justin Fields, he brings some athleticism to the table. I don't currently have his rushing stats in front of me from game 1, but he actually did run the ball a little bit in his short limited amount of snaps versus the Buffalo Bills. So that is something that is not we're not going to have to dumb down the playbook too much for Tyrod Taylor, because most of those run plays that Justin Fields was able to execute, Tyrod Taylor can also give us an advantage in the quarterback running game. You love that because it changes the math. Now that you have a quarterback who's a threat to run, that gives us 11 offensive players instead of what it usually is, which is only 10 offensive players versus 11 defensive players. We now have 11 offensive players versus 11 defensive players. The reason why you count out the quarterbacks that aren't rushing threats is because as soon as the ball leaves their hands, the defense can just ignore them because they know, a guy like Joe Flacco is not going to ever touch the football after the football leaves him, unless it's some sort of crazy reverse. But after the New York Jets double reverse debacle against the Buffalo Bills, handing it off to Arian Smith for a huge loss in the first quarter of last week's game, you have to imagine they're not going to go back to anything that tricky for a little while. Tyrod Taylor, we have to make sure he's able to settle in a little bit here. We got to make sure that we don't, I don't even want to say don't want to go too crazy when it comes to game planning for Tyrod Taylor, because one of the last time, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not played yet. I'm recording this Monday afternoon. Buccaneers play Monday night. So the last time we saw the Buccaneers defense, it was against the Atlanta Falcons offense in week 1. The Atlanta Falcons were able to run up a respectable amount of points, which right now, that defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers does not scare me. The Buccaneers, they don't have the greatest home field advantage in the world. So there are a lot of ways where the New York Jets can still get an advantage even with Tyrod Taylor in this game. One of the biggest problems against the Buccaneers is going to be the fact that Justin Fields will not have an opportunity. Should he miss this game due to the concussion protocol, he will not have another opportunity to continue his development with the New York Jets, because Tyrod Taylor can't be the future of the New York Jets. Justin Fields, while unlikely, still can be the quarterback of the future for the New York Jets. And that's what Jets fans really should be rooting for. Even if you don't believe in Justin Fields, it only helps the New York Jets organization if he is able to be that starting quarterback that we've been looking for a long time. Quarterbacks break out late all the time. Just look at Daniel Jones in the Indianapolis Colts right now. They haven't even punted yet, and we're going into week 3. They still haven't punted the ball. Justin Fields, it's not too late for him to break out, but he has to show more signs of improvement. Preseason looked bad. Week 1, he looked so much better than he looked in the preseason. And then for whatever reason, against the Buffalo Bills, he went right back to the preseason version of Justin Fields. Maybe he was afraid of the pass rush. Maybe the offensive coordinator put too much on his plate. I don't think it was that, because the offensive coordinator called the games pretty similarly. Even in the first game, it was an even more complex play calling offense for Justin Fields to work out. Justin Fields he's really got to get it together mentally more than he has, because we know he has the athleticism to run. He has that arm strength. He can throw the ball with high velocity, got to be more accurate. And when he's in the pocket, he has to sit in the pocket and his footwork has to be correct. His footwork needs to match up with the way that the play is called, meaning if you have let's say a 15-yard curl route, he needs to drop back and make sure he is set in his stance, ready to throw the football when that receiver is starting his break. He can't be, usually what he does is his feet are kind of all over the place. And when you do that, when the wide receiver is cutting, your feet might not be ready for you to throw an accurate pass. And in the NFL, it's already too hard for these quarterbacks to do everything. You got to make sure your footwork's right. You can't make it even harder on yourself. That's one of the main things that Justin Fields needs to work on. It looked real solid against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's so frustrating that there was such a disconnect from week 1 to week 2. And the problem is he went back to all the same problems that he used to have with the Steelers last year and with the Chicago Bears earlier on in his season, in his career. I've been praising him for that week 1 because I really love the fact that even though he didn't light the world on fire, he showed that he was improving on the things that he needed to improve on. And that gave me so much hope that maybe I was wrong by saying that he wasn't going to develop. Maybe there was still hope for him, but going right back week 2 makes me feel, unfortunately, makes me look more right than I was looking last week. I still am hoping I'm wrong, hoping that the New York Jets can free up our first round pick for this year by finding our quarterback of the future in Justin Fields. We're going to see if Tyrod Taylor can get it done against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are, I think they're still an underrated team. They're a very, very decent, 8th best to 10th best, somewhere in that neighborhood, but they are a top team in the NFL. The New York Jets are going to have to show a lot more than they did against the Buffalo Bills. You have to hope that it was just a fluke game, although there are a lot of signs showing to it not really being a fluke game against the Buffalo Bills. The penalties are still so bad, so frustrating to see. It's great that Aaron Glenn pointed the blame at himself, which is what leaders do and what Aaron Rodgers never did last year. But Aaron Glenn he's got to start. The changes have to start actually coming to light, and we have to actually start seeing the changes. He still has time, takes a long time to change a culture. Rooting for Aaron Glenn, I do still think that he is the right coach for this team to implement a new culture and get everything going on the right direction. Justin Fields, the jury is still out. Right now, trending in the wrong direction, but 1 week can change absolutely everything in this league, and we'll be watching very closely against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and week 4, week 5, week 6. Going forwards, it's not over yet. Very long season, 0-2. It is not over for the New York Jets yet, even if it does look really bad right now. But that's what I got for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Jets.